Oh, God. Okay, I think I'm back. We'll find out. Looks like I'm back. Okay, in the time it took my PC to restart, it appears that LGD have gotten a couple more kills. Why does Thresh have all the kills? This is what I missed. I missed the replay of that fight to see how Thresh ended up with all the kills. LGD are going to break first turret in the bot lane, and now have a pretty sizable lead going for themselves. All the way up to a little over 3,000 gold. PYL's here in the bot lane, and in the mid lane, ready to see if any mistakes happen. And Karin's just constantly in LGD's jungle. Even if his team's not winning, he's getting advantages. Lies is in trouble. That is a fish going up, and that is a solo kill, but Jinu's going to go ahead and pay for it since the bot lane has rotated with the turret coming down, and Braum is here. So now, LGD have matched the rotation in plenty of time to not cause trouble in the lane, but with the top laners that isn't going to mean anything, and this advantage for Imp is just going to keep snowballing its way up. So, LGD have, and with the Drake spawn being 2 Infernal Drakes this game, as it has been, they are going to have some serious mid-game advantages as Kalista hits as she works her way towards her 2-item power spike with, I would assume, the Runaan's Hurricane as her second item. And credit to Nats for keeping the itemization somewhat close. He's down boots right now, but he's got his Blade of the Ruin King on the same timing and is still able to be somewhat impactful on the map. Yeah, I'm still not entirely sold on this Lissandra pick. It's keeping up fine in farm and has done some okay things, and we'll see if it's going to actually be able to lock Imp down as the pick is going to need to do for them to carry this game. So, now they're going for Imp, and they just can't quite get the line because Kalista is so slippery. And they see the opportunity without PYL in that lane to go for it, and PYL is going to do whatever PYL does. He's got his Moby boots on already, looking to get the roams on and get the hooks out wherever he needs to go. Already got his say. 204 in a support means you have some itemization that you might not otherwise have. So, and here's the second Infernal Drake already up. Amy's going to clear the pit out, and I'll bet this is not going to be too long for this world. We'll see if Dan wants to contest this. They know it's happening since he just cleared that ward out. And while Ivern is on the bottom side of the map, yeah, Ivern's going to come check this now, but I doubt. Yeah. Here's Daisy over the wall. Daisy can't smite. Oh, now here comes a big fight into the bot lane. Cool cleanses and flashes his way out of the damage. Now Jinu's here ready to do some damage. This is a significant numbers advantage for LGD for now. All 5 of them are here, and Twitch is still far, far away. So that nice disengage from Dan, considering they were down numbers. But now they're, I don't know, trying to get pressure on mid might be a little bit bold. There's a teleport coming in behind them. Fizz is ready to fight this. Dan's health bars are still pretty low, and Lies might be in trouble. We'll see. That's a lot of damage coming out of that Fizz, who hit the ever well-known Trinity Force spike, and that Thresh hook landed true, and that is a dead that. But walk too close to Lissandra. Top laners are dead again. Fizz can get away from a lot of stuff, but After he's used his buttons and the Lysandra ults him, that's the end of the line. 2-1-2 on the mid Lysandra for Chi. And LGD are gonna take advantage of the space created and the health bar advantages to get themselves Our Lady Rift Herald, and PYL, of course, is going to be the one to carry her around the map, probably right onto this top lane tier 1 that seems oh so ready for them to take advantage of. Now we've seen nope, not yet. We've seen Rift Herald mostly used today to get a single tier 1 turret or to get significant chunking on a significant tier 1 turret. It's rare that a team will allow the Herald to end up in a side lane for long enough to get significant progress on a tier 2 turret, but it has happened, I believe, once today. But mostly it's just used as drop it mid lane, get about half of the mid lane tier 1 turret. That'll do it. And it hasn't, I don't really feel like it's been prioritized, but it's been taken when the advantage has been available to take. And so we'll see what LGD chooses to do with it. The suspicion will be to deal with one of these two remaining outer turrets that they have to deal with. And oh, Ivern and things. That's why Kled has a red buff. And Kled seems to be doing okay into these trades with Fizz. They've managed to both die a lot of the time when they've been dueling, hence both of them having 3 deaths. But diving under the turret is a little bit of a bold move. Here's Lysandra though. Dash belt in, Lysandra ult. That's another kill on the Fizz. And hey, Kled won't actually die this time. Now the team's coming in to try and stop Cool. That is a big fat. Yep, they're dead now. That's mid-tier 1 down. Here's Herald. That mid-tier 2 is going to have some serious problems right now. And Lysandra's back. Kled's going to continue split pushing in the bot lane, which is probably about best you can ask for. But that is a massive chunk of damage. They might just go for the inhibitor turret here. That was... Oh, yeah, that's... Kled realized he needed to get back, but it's already done. That inhib turret's going to be... Yeah, okay, they got Herald, and it's going to be at, like, 5%. Boy, let's get a replay of Twitch running directly into the Cassiopeia ult and dying in three Twin Fangs. That was fun. And I mean, like, credit to Cool for hitting the button, but they walked right into it. Like, directly facing, no cheeky turns around like you were preparing for it. Just ran straight into the Cassiopeia with ult. What did you expect was going to happen? That was a little embarrassing by the Dan bot lane. Alright, 20 minutes. Dan going to start Baron. What could possibly go wrong? Fizz is bot lane without teleport, so he's going to be a little late to this fight. Amy's in the pit. They just don't have the damage. It's only at like half health, and they're taking more damage than they are. They're wisely choose to back away, but that was a bold call for a game that is rapidly spiraling out of their control. Yeah, and Imp is ready to fight. He's got his Hurricane. He's got the 2-item spike. Got the trusty Lance into POL to keep him safe. Did that hook even go through the wall? And I don't know. I don't think anything on Dan particularly wants to contest that 3-man core of Cassiopeia, Kalista, and Thresh right now. And Cassiopeia getting those two kills right in there. Yeah, here they come. Nice hook turnaround from PYL after the Kalista ult. There's 1 kill. Kalista's gonna kite her way out of there and trying to, but Nats is already dead. The Kalista ult's gonna do some good work, but that's just a whitewash. That is everybody but Lies is dead. Lies is pushed into the bot lane. That's gonna be Baron for LGD without too much trouble. Imp played that very intelligently to get out of the way of Lysandra and make her use her important cooldowns on other people. That is a Baron on 5 for LGD. That's going to be a bot lane tier 2 because Kled really can't do anything about that when there's a wave there ready for him. Soon, anyway. I'm actually surprised that Imp didn't just go for that tier 1 turret that he's got a wave ready and waiting at. But LGD respectably wanted to go back and buy. Imp went back and immediately bought a QSS because Lissandra is a champion in this game who tends to bring some hard CC to deal with the situation. And yeah, so that is. Oh, and Nats just died somewhere, I guess. Fizz things. Nats has done a lot of kind of dying for no reason this game, it's felt like. Cool, flashing in just for the slow. And Lysandra's going to try and dash belt out, and Cool's going to sit there and wait, and she's going to get over the wall and get away, but that was every single cooldown she had to get away from that, and those are now not up for the team fight that's going to happen that's already 4v5 for Dan. This turret's going to go down shortly. Daisy's going to get popped like a... I don't even have a good word for that. I was going to say like a cupcake, but what do you pop with a cupcake? Because she looks like... Yeah, I got nothing. My analogies are bad. This is... Yeah, and LGD did pick up that third Infernal Drake at some point. That's... PYL's dead. And... She thought about taking that Ice Claw into 4 members of LGD and chose not to, which is probably a good decision for living, but not a great decision for the base. That's the base broken. I'd like to see how Jinu solo killed the Nats, but at the same time I kind of don't want to because I think it probably isn't particularly pretty for some ADC players. Shout out to ADC in 2017. Yeah, and Jinu just like LGD just kind of have a way of it. And when you get the early game snowball and you get the triple Infernal Drake, sometimes the game is just over. Cool just doesn't even care about hitting the ult. Oh, and he dismounted before he could actually get out of there with the ult. Cool's just using the ult for the slow because then he can just chase down and kill everyone. Cassiopeia with 3 Infernal Drakes is not a fun thing to play against. Well, LGD looked to be here to play today. And they have made the Callista, and she is gonna again have to use all of his cooldowns to dash out of the fight, which is not the direction Lissandra wants to be going. Lissandra wants to go kill your carries, but the carries are up a lot of money and a lot of items on the Lissandra, and therefore the Lissandra does not win and is stuck running away all the time. Yeah, and this, I mean, it's 13,000 gold and three Infernal Drakes. This is pretty much this, but I mean, LGD could still overdive and throw this. Can't ever rule it out. And they are out of Baron, I believe. Yep, they don't have Baron anymore. So the waves are gonna die pretty quickly. Lysander has some pretty good wave clear, so does Twitch, but Twitch has to get close for that. Nice 3-man knockup by Cat, but they have to do damage. Again, Amy's gonna get into the turret. He's probably gonna die for that, and Jinu's gonna get the fish on, but the damage dealers, aka that really fed Cassiopeia, are still going. And Fizz is gonna, having been at like 50 health for that entire fight, just get out because Fizz. And that is That is the overdiving. Amy and PYL both kind of just died for no reason, and it didn't matter because they're up so much gold and items. That's going to be game one, pretty, pretty conclusively to LGD Gaming. Nicely played. And there you have it. That for a game that we hoped would be close, as a matchup of two now LPL teams, that was not not terribly close. And I am curious to see if DAN use any different elements of their roster. Uh, I don't think they were. I mean, can you really be ready for Imp? I think that's a fair question to ask. But the bot lane just kind of started bad and went worse. I really question the prioritization on the Twitch. That like I get that you're denying it as a pick that's strong in the current meta, but first picking it is just such carte blanche to LGD to say, play whatever you want. Your lane will be just fine. And like the Kalista Thresh is got great synergy, works well together. This is the big fight in the bot lane that was actually a close fight, but it's just like cool walking in as this fight is still technically 3v3. Nice dodge by Cat, and and Amy eventually gets cleaned up at the end of this fight by Chi, but like no one has ever done damage to this Cassiopeia, and that's it. Like yeah, this turns out Braum Shield actually just doesn't do anything about getting Cassiopeia ulted by everyone. That was the dumbest thing I've seen in a while. What a what a choice that was made there. So we'll see the MVP when we get back. My money is on Imp because Imp. Well, no, my money's on Cool, even though most of Cool's kills looked exceedingly easy. Cool will probably still get it. We'll see what happens though. I'm going to take the headset off and be right back for game 2. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being here through my PC crashing. Yeah, just appreciate it. I will. Oh, Spotify crashed. Here's Spotify. Alright. Oh wait, my freaking... Alright. Casters are back. I'm back. Let's talk game 2. But before that, MVP for game 1. Is it cool? It is cool. 7-1-6 on the Cassiopeia. His death was first blood on a well-played gank by Dan Gaming. After that, he kind of just ran the show. Smart roams, cleaned up a team fight, and then people just kind of kept running into his ultimate and dying. That's kind of the story of that game on Cassiopeia. When two people just run face up into your ultimate at Cassiopeia and you just get to kill them for free, that's pretty fun. So, that was a lot of what Cool did that game, is just kind of ult people and then kill them. But he did the damage, cleaned up the kills. Gets him an MVP. Very worth. So, game 2. LGD's comp wasn't really reliant on anything particularly within meta picks. Like, you wouldn't call Callista a meta pick, you wouldn't call Cassiopeia a meta pick. There was a huge focus from both teams on top lane bans. There were 7 of the 10 bans were used on top laners, which was interesting. And one of them was Olaf. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if people assume that, like, Jinnu has a really tiny champion pool or something like that, but like the huge amount of focus, and like some of them I get, right? Like, you ban the Galio, that's fine. You ban the Cannon, that's fine. The Fiora first ban was weird, and then you didn't ban the Fizz, who is probably the highest priority of the possibilities given its flex nature, which LGD used to their advantage in the draft. It just, like, if you're going to ban away seven top laners and neither team is going to touch Fizz, I think that's a really interesting place to be. And let's see if the focus in draft changes at all. Dan's going to first ban Fiora again. Is Jinnu like a Fiora one trick that I don't know about? Alright. Fiora, Shen, Kennen, World of Top Laners. What top laner are we banning next, LGD? Or are you going to ban Lulu? Lulu was the only ban in the first 6 last time that was not... Yep. Alright, bans are completely the same so far. We just gonna play the same game again? What was Dan's third ban? Vitamin Galio? So Galio's up, Fizz is up, Olaf is up, I guess. Alright, there's a Thresh ban for PYL. That's a respect ban for PYL. And that's actually a change. Thank you, Dan. Thanks, Dan. And then there's the Galio. Alright, only 4 top lane bans. We downgraded just a little bit. So, Dan first picked Twitch last time. We're going to first pick an ADC again this time. This time it's going to be Ashe. Probably. See if they lock it away. I think this is slightly less risky than the Twitch. It doesn't give your opponent such a free laning phase, and it brings some guarantees to your team comp in terms of CC. And yeah, they do lock it away. I don't mind that as much if you're going to be bound and determined to first pick an ADC. But yeah, and now Imp can be like, okay, I'll show you how it's done. And there's the Karma, which I think went completely untouched in Game 1, which is weird. That hasn't happened very much in competitive across the last while. And now, let's see, you can take away the Lee Sin. You can take away, well, yeah. And no roster changes for either side, by the way, in case that was unclear. I don't know, Amy looked fine on Lee Sin last time, why change it up? Right, this time the one change appears to be swap out the Thresh for the Karma, which does make Team Comp play a little bit differently. Looks like we may have a technical issue on the Dan Gaming side based on the on the LGD side. Or they just took my graphics away. One of the two. I can't actually tell. Okay, we're back. No Ivern this time. So we're mixing up the jungle priority in addition to everything else. So instead, we had Twitch and Ivern last time. We have Ashe and Graves this time. So bringing a slightly different identity to the comp, one which I like a little bit more already. Now Dan can take away the Fizz right here, which I think is a really smart play in the draft, and they do. Very good. So now Dan have the flex of the Fizz. We've got a jungler locked away. They've left their support open, which is fine. Because there aren't really that many targeted bans at support. I guess you could take away Tom Kench, but it'll be interesting. They'll probably just ban away more top laners, because that's how this series has been, is top lane bans. Alright, Sivir for Imp. Interesting. Now, we are on 7-9. In which some of the buffs for the crit items have come through, so Sivir's a little more comfortable of a pick. And LGD do ban away Zyra, who is a obviously potent support pick. What's going to be interesting with this is I think it's going to be pretty hard for LGD to not win the push in bottom lane with this lane, because obviously Karma really likes to push. Sivir through both Q and W is really good at pushing waves. And yeah, we're going to ban another top laner. Well, I guess LGD don't have anything that could be a top laner locked in yet, so banning more top laners is fair, but are we really going to ban 7 top laners again? LG would need to ban a top laner, which I don't think they're going to do. Nope. Zyra and Malzahar, 2 of the mage support options, 2 of the more strongly pushing bot lane options, taken away from Cat. So we'll see what Cat has up his sleeve, or in his hat, if you want to go with Dr. Seuss on this occasion. So, Dan gonna ban away another top laner? Ban 4 top laners? Nope, they're gonna ban LeBlanc, which is fair. So Cool clearly didn't care that much about it. And now we'll see if they're going to lock away mid lane or top lane, since they don't have the flexibility of the Fizz pick that they did last time. Now obviously Dan aren't showing anything, so they can get themselves a matchup. So you can take the Syndra here and offer. So now you're offering Chi the opportunity to take the Fizz into the Syndra, which is supposed to be a pretty good matchup for Fizz from 6 and on. So this is kind of throwing the gauntlet down a little bit. It's like, I'm fine taking this matchup, but we want to see what you got. And it looks like Dan does not want the challenge and is instead going to take a slightly safer option in the Victor, rather than trying to play the assassin in the mid lane. And then Nami, who is a perfectly fine option. Nami's not going to push the wave as hard as some other ones, but she is going to trade well and have some good harass and some good sustain in lane. So I feel like LGD are going to get the push in the bottom lane, but Dan will probably have a much easier time in lane than they did last time. Now, oh, Jinnu. That would be a pick into the Fizz. That would also be a pick into the... Okay, we're just trolling me now. Do we get to see Riven today? That'd be fun. We do? That is a Riven locked into the top lane for Jinnu. So, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We get to see Riven. Alright, that was worth tweeting about. So, I need to check and see if my text is blocking items when we get into game. That will be important to keep an eye on. And yeah, this is... We are sure not holding back on the damage in these team comps. I am intrigued to see this. And see how Jinnu's Riven is feeling. So, we've seen LGD work through the bottom lane and have strong performance in the mid lane. Now Jinnu's got himself on a carry. Let's see what he's got. So, on our way into game 2. Those are the team comps. This is LGD Gaming versus DAN Gaming, game 2 in the Demacia Cup of 2017. So, I know nothing about the Riven into Fizz lane. I think that, like most kind of fighter into fighter lanes, if one gets a lead, it's going to snowball pretty hard. So, we'll see. We'll see how that swings, shall we say. Now, let's see if I can... Yeah, Jinnu does like his Fiora. Has he played Riven in competitive before? I do not think he has played Riven in competitive before. He's played a large selection of carry champions, but he has not played the Riven before. So, this will be fun. So, pretty standard level 1 start across the lane. And we do get to see Chi on the Victor instead of the Lissandra, which... Again, a little bit safer, a little more reliable if things go badly, because the Lissandra pick just couldn't do very much once Dan were significantly behind in that game. So I think the Victor will be good and safe. And now, all eyes on the top lane here. Not that watching Sivir and Ash wave clear for days isn't going to be fun, but bot lane isn't nearly as interesting as it was last time with the Kalista Thresh in there. And I missed what keystone. I'm assuming Riven runs Thunderlords? And it looks like Fizz is having just a fine time getting his grasp of the Undying off. Doran shields start for both. We have 3 Doran shields in the game. Imp doesn't build Doran shield. Imp don't need no Doran shield. It actually looks like Nats has an early advantage in this lane, and Dan indeed have gotten themselves the push. That is a lot of damage onto Chi, who is not having the greatest time. However, Cool has used most of his mana bar already, so he has a little more safety than he might otherwise, and he also took the Barrier Summoner spell to help mitigate some of Syndra's burst potential. So it'll be interesting. Amy getting a little bit of vision into Dan's jungle here, but probably not going to do much other than that. No, not as much of Ivern to deal with. Gonna go ahead and take away some Krugs though. And Graves. Has his eyes on mid lane, but it looks like we'll see if Cool has his spidey senses tingle here for these ranged minions. Alright, here comes Karin, dashes in, Cool immediately heals to get out of that. So, Summoner spell burnt, worthwhile use of the time. And Lee Sin will instead take his time to take some farm and get a little bit ahead on that. But successful first gank for Karin on the Graves. Now that would be a little bit of a bold move to try and dive that bot lane that is trying to push out. However, PYL's gotten himself low through some trades, and now got the slow onto Imp. And that sticks a big old Mantra Q and Boomerang Blade in there. Nice spell shield from Imp, but Karin's in there. Forces the flash at a PYL. Another summoner spell force there. Looks like, yeah, and Amy looks to be having himself a time in the enemy jungle here. He just took away another camp. He's looking to take away the wolves, although he might get met there. Yeah, Karin's on his way in, and if he's gonna take the big one and run away. So that's 3 camps stolen out of the jungle by Amy already. This game has been very. He hasn't been looking to gank. He's been looking to take camps away. While Karin has had 2 good ganks that have gotten summoner spells out, but he's lost some pressure in his own lanes. So, yeah, Cool looks to have burned through his entire mana bar and is on his way back, probably to pick up his lost chapter. Victor has been back to get a blasting wand, rather than. He must have been just short of a hex core upgrade. That's unfortunate for his build path, but kind of depends what he's going. So, he has gotten himself a pretty decent CS lead for all of Cool's attempts to harass him out. And Cool's going to lose a okay chunk of that wave to the mid turret, but should get caught up, but he'll still be down by about 15. So that's a pretty good CS lead in the mid lane, pretty good CS lead in the bot lane for Nats, which is a welcome change from last game. And top lane looks to be about even for now. Looks like both players are going, well, we've seen more from Riven, who's kind of got a little bit of everything. Got the health, got the attack, got the AD, got the magic resist. Whereas Fizz got the Ruby Crystal and the Dark Seal to augment his corrupting potion. So, Riven's got more stats right now. Now this Graves is far away from this on the map, so if Amy wants to go in, they've got the 2v3 3v2 advantage. But doesn't look like they want to pressure that hard. He is sticking around in that bot lane though, so he's going to back out now. Probably wise. Yeah, and that's the back timings in this mid lane, neither of which have been particularly great, because Syndra went boots and mana crystal instead of being able to get a lost chapter or do anything like that, which that's That's a little bit awkward. And then Victor still, I don't think, has upgraded his hex core and has gotten other stuff instead. We may just be out of date on itemization on these things, but that seems... both of those seem weird to me. Now, Amy in the mid lane. Amy's been farming up a storm, but really hasn't made his presence felt in a lane yet. And she might be in trouble if he doesn't pick this up. There's a stun missed. So, if that stun hit, he might have been in some trouble. But good sidestep by Chi keeps him safe. And now Amy's just going to come take away this red buff. So, again, Amy has been all over the enemy jungle this map. First time he's taking a buff away, but he's taking away tons of camps. Good support from PYL to run with him. And now they're going to look back at mid lane. There's a stun. There's a Mantra Q. There's the resonating strike. Barry's going to keep him alive for a bit, but not for long enough. And the heal forced out from Syndra there to keep Amy alive. Good turnaround damage. She stayed alive for a long time and kept his ult burning, but just wasn't quite enough, and the Graves Burst wasn't quite enough to finish it off. So, nice first blood kill going over to Amy, who has had a really nice early game for just his presence on the map, rather than necessarily making too many flashy plays. Got the one flash play off, got the first blood, and has been trying to deprive Graves of his resources. And Graves actually flashed in to try and get that. PYL, that is the Ashe hit 6 dream right there. Enchanted Crystalline Arrow into Bubble, into dead Karma, who was already at half health. So, nice turnaround. That's what you do when you have this lane at 6. You ult the thing. And he didn't even use his flash, so that was... could maybe have flashed that, but did not, and is therefore dead. Jinnu is in the mid lane. That is a very dead Chi. That fish was just barely short from lies. That almost caught Jinnu and had him in some serious trouble. But Jinnu and Cole just gonna walk their way out of there, and Jinnu's gonna see a tasty looking Nami right there and try and go for it. But now Nats is forced to flash out of the Dragon Pit. That was probably not exactly how Dan's bot lane pictured that going. And now that'll be a pretty easy dragon picked up for LGD, since they somehow had all 5 people on the bottom side of the map with the hilarious Riven roam between the 2 mid turrets to pick up the assist. So Chi quickly 0-2 after losing his summoners, and just gets a Riven to walk into lane on him. That's not a particularly pleasant experience for a Victor, and he very well could be punished more while his summoner spells are down. We shall see. Jinnu paid a little bit for that roam with some CS, but he's going to pick most of this wave up unless they can get this dive right. Now Lies has to tank turret for a bit, and then has to get out of there as soon as he gets to a certain level of health. And so Jinnu survives the dive attempts without even burning a summoner spell. And Jinnu still has teleport advantage, whereas Lies, I believe, TP'd down to that last fight. So, and this looks like Riven's got a Hex Drinker for laying with Fizz. Oh look, they're back on the summonerless Victor. Cinder ult is up. He is dead. But turned it around for a nice kill on a PYL who kind of stood in his ult. And Karin is back mid lane to ult the wave and try and relieve a little bit of this pressure, but they are pretty mercilessly trying to abuse this Victor with no summoner spells, and it has been effective so far. Now Karin, if he's not careful, is going to be in trouble. Amy's going in for that. Kicks back and does not finalize the kill onto Karin, but does some serious damage on his way out. Alright, we're about 12 minutes into the game. LGD have themselves a little under 1,000 gold lead. Um, basically from their kill, the one kill that they are up, and a little bit wider kill participation across their team. The lanes are mostly even in CS, within about 10 each way, all across. And yeah, it looks like the Sivers most of the way to Essence Reaver as a comfortable power spike. Ashes should have Blade of the Ruined King on her next back. Riven going into the Hexdrinker for the dueling power against the Fizz, and also obviously going to the Black Cleaver, pretty standard Riven build that you'd expect. Now, that's an aggressive run in from Imp, who is probably going to get out. Jinnu, Nats is dead to right and is going to try and get whatever he can get. He is not going to get anybody. Jinnu TP's in, cleans up the kill. That's goodbye. Kick, resonating strike, and this, once the wave gets here, is going to be first brick to LGD. Nice collapse. Teleport doing what you'd expect. Karin is going to clear the wave, so this might not be turret down immediately, and Imp's going to be sticking around at some pretty low health levels, so they might not get the turret right away. So, Cool's going to turn around and kind of just solo kill Chi. That's... Yep. Hey, you kind of get to a certain point when you don't have summoner spells, and that's kind of that. So, Chi's 1 and 4. Syndra has the Morellonomicon, is in good shape. Chi looks to be most of the way to his Rylai's Crystal Scepter and has upgraded his Hexcore at least once. Little tiny fish goes in the Jinnu, and it just might be enough that Hexdrinker's got him in good shape. And over the wall he goes, and that dot's going to go away, but he's going to be out. Didn't even have to flash. Still had even more getaway. That's the power of Riven's mobility. When's the last time we saw a Riven in a competitive game, I wonder? Most recent games by champion, while we're waiting for the spot lane to go down. And well, Dan look like they want to actually defend this. Nats is gonna have the enchanted crystalline arrow dodged by Imp, but that'll do to force LGD off that tower again for a little bit. Now I guess they're looking at top lane and thinking they might be able to get that tower. Oh wait, first tower's already gone. What am I talking about? But Victor has eaten a stun. Syndra is going to walk in and push R, and he's not going to die. Just real close. The last time we saw a Riven in competitive play was, in the OPL this spring. Tainted Minds against Chiefs. It was into a Renekton. It did not go well. If I remember right, I feel like that was a pretty trolly game and was not particularly serious. But, you know. See if I can dig up any more on this. See when it was last played in China. Yep. Meanwhile, LGD have pushed their lead to about 2,000 gold. We've got another Mountain Drake live, but LGD have not decided to go for it as much control over the map as they have. Now Nats eats a Montague to the face, but is not particularly in trouble. Nice dodging around from Imp. Very good trade on the Cat. Takes a ton of damage, and Nats is going to get some good damage back. But there's a tower for Dan. They'll equalize the towers 1-1 for now. But Amy's made his way bot lane, and that tower bot lane is probably about to make that 2-1 for LGD. But good money in the pocket of Dan. Good pressure on top lane gets that advantage for them. PYL and Imp gonna split that gold. Oh yeah, that's right. It was played once in EU. this spring. Hey, Chi actually got cool. Amy's gonna get in and get him back. And now Janu's in the fight. But looks like it's gonna be just 1-for-1 mid laners traded for now, which has honestly got to be pretty good because Chi actually getting the kill on cool before going down has not been how these trades have been going. So good on him for turning that around. So it was played by Akira on 2144 a couple of times in LSPL last summer. So it's not that far removed from the region. All right, so that 1-for-1 ultimately didn't really result in anything. I'm a little surprised LGD haven't shown more preference toward going for the dragon. They probably could kind of take it whenever they want to, and a Mountain Drake wouldn't exactly be bad for their goals. It's never bad for anybody's goals. But right now we've kind of redistributed the lanes a little bit. Both bot lanes have gone up to top lane. Dan trying to defend their last remaining outer turret from disappearing, which seems like probably not the greatest use of their time, but you know, you do what you can. Here's LGD finally making the move on the Mountain Drake, and that's gonna go down pretty much without any thought whatsoever. So that's 2 Drakes in the game to LGD, and we shall see what the next one will be at a later point in time. Coming up to Baron time, and LGD are starting. Both teams are kind of pretty much starting to hit item spikes they're comfortable with. Victor's got his Crystal Scepter. Lee Sin's gonna flash away from the fish and is going to go in way too deep after a Fizz because he forgot how Fizz worked for a second. That's Amy dead. That was a little unwise from Amy. Perhaps going in to think about using the Dragon's Rage on Fizz was not the brightest idea of the Lee Sin player's life. But sometimes you hit the Q and you go. Cat is going to live through a Syndra ult, which as a support is not the most common thing in the world, and Cool's gonna go down. So that's 2 quick kills for LGD off of, I won't say silly overextensions, but that was probably unnecessary and out of position from Syndra, and it definitely was from Amy. So just giving Dan footholds back into this game. Dan remained within almost within 1,000 gold still, and which is a pretty good effort after things went downhill rather rapidly last game to still be in pretty good shape at 21 minutes. Now, Amy and Karin playing the back dance a little bit there, and Karin's going to get himself a pink ward for free there, as PYL with his yellow Nikes and his Karma Shield's going to go real fast around the map. Now, you'd suspect that LGD want to finish their second items before pushing anything too strongly across the map. Everybody across the board's almost done with it. Double black cleavers in the jungle in the top lane. Syndra is waiting on the completion of the Luden's Echo. Sivir's got her 2 items. Jinu and Lies are gonna dash past each other, and that fish is gonna be big damage. But there's the Hex Drinker on. Can Jinu turn this around, or has Lies got it? Nice 1v1 kill by Jinu. That, I even think Fizz dodged the Wind Slash, but damage didn't matter. And that is why you buy the Hex Drinker, and I would assume Ribbon's gonna go home and finish that Maul right about now, because that absolutely had it. Nats might be in trouble. Burns the Ignite, but forces PYL's forced to burn both of his summoners to get out of that situation, and now Karin's in trouble because that is a really fast LGD bot lane coming at you, and you guys are low. Imp is not going to dive the turret by himself, but he is going to take the turret after forcing a lot of health out of assorted players on Dan. But only I believe one summoner spell up in Graves' Flash for both of PYLs. So aggressive plays good. Sivir chose to go with the Static Shiv second instead of going for, you might see the Phantom Dancer instead of that. So she's got a little more burst than you otherwise might expect from a Sivir player, but doesn't have the damage reduction value of the Phantom Dancer. And so, but yeah, both teams are in pretty good shape itemization wise, and Fizz is on to his second item almost. And now this 1v1 isn't a 1v1 anymore. Janu's got little tiny fish on him, but he still fancies this. And here's Amy to turn this around. Lies is down again. So this time a credit to better rotation from LGD, and that might result in some pressure on this bot lane tier 2. Not least because Cat is at like 50 health because he found some friends, and by friends I mean he found Syndra with an ultimate. And that's going to be a tier 2 turret for LGD. Raising their edge in turrets this game into 4 turrets to 1, which is a large percentage of their gold lead. Now Imp is Sivir and is going to run away from the Victor, and actually might kite this out, but not quite. Victor with a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, there is only so much you can do even as Sivir to get away from that, and it took Chi's Flash to get Imp's Flash, but Chi does pick up a kill and is far beyond irrelevant in this game. He's got his Crystal Scepter, got his fully upgraded Hex Core, and with the Aether Wisp is probably looking to go towards his Lichbane third item to make that auto attack from the second part of his Q hit even harder. So Dan's damage is absolutely real, but it looks like Jinu's starting to pull ahead in the matchup of split pushers between Riven and Fizz. Albeit the last time we saw the 1v1 it was really close, but now it looks like the gold is starting to kind of stack up in Jinu's favor. Albeit Fizz is starting to get more armor on him, and Riven has finished probably most of the MR she's gonna get. PYL with the nice dodge, that's the power of move speed right there, because he was and is moving really fast to dodge that. Now, Chi drops down the gravity field and is getting his way out of there, but that's a massive stun from Jinu, and Karin's just dead. Jinu continuing to follow CC in, but the fish is good onto him, but Lies is just down again. That is a massive Dragon's Rage from Amy, but he doesn't have any follow-up and just kind of dies under turret, and that's really disengaged. But that is, we'll see. Imp wants in. Imp is gonna get... Imp is going to live with 200 health, but Nats with the nice turn. Flash for flash from Nats. And now he's in trouble. That was perhaps a little ambitious from the Ashe, and he paid for it. That'll be an ace for LGD. After they looked to have disengaged the fight, and then Dan thought they had an opportunity to get a little something more after that. And flashing in after a Syndra as Ashe is a bold move at the best of times, and at this stage of the game might not be what you want to do. So LGD pick up a mid tier 2, LGD pick up an ace, LGD pick up their third Drake of the game, another Cloud Drake. Next one will be another Mountain, and should escape scot-free at this point, unless Graves feels like running into Sivir and Syndra damage. So that fight has opened this up from relatively close to 6,000 gold lead. Let's take a look at the close of this fight. Imp is in there auto attacking, and Dan thinks he can get that. Forces the heal out, and Imp gets Gets Chi, but Nats gets PYL down. So now it's 2v2. Nats flashes in, immediately gets Cool's flash, and then is just dead to rights. Like, you can't get away from that. And the full health Riven coming back from the base to just clean the rest of the fight up. That's the end of it. But, I don't know. Flash for flash with the Syndra, after you get there, like, you don't get out and you don't win that trade. Because by the time it's taken Syndra to flash away from you and run away, Syndra has cooldowns again. And you can auto-attack, and that's great, but you're not going to live through another Syndra spell rotation without your flash. That's just not a thing. So perhaps a little bit of a optimistic flash forward from Nats right there. So LGD, that fight puts them in pretty complete control of this game. It's a little bit over a 5,000 gold lead. DAN are at the Baron trying to sneak it, and this seems like it's only going to end in suffering. That's a big fish landing onto PYL and doesn't even break through his shielding. And now DAN only wants to disengage. That is a Riven over to the wall, knock up and shield onto 3, but the blast plant gets them out and Imp almost entirely dies. That's a huge knock up and stun. Holy moly, they're all dead. All right. I don't even know what just happened, but everybody died. So, yeah. That'll be the base broken. And an inhibitor down, and probably Baron at 30 minutes. Or LGD might just look down the game. We've got Death Timer's Ashes up in 15 seconds. Yeah, that 5-0 might just wrap up that game. That was a lot of CC into all 5 members of DAN, and they all just kind of died all in one big cluster. And it wasn't... Riven got good burst onto 3 of them on the blast plan, but then that looked like it must have been a Syndra stun that just hit the entire team and killed everyone. That was the most conclusive team fight and most swiftly ending team fight I've seen in a good bit. But that is it. That is the 2-0 for LGD. Well deserved. A little bit. There were openings that could have been taken advantage of in both early games, but really overall the difference in skill there was pretty noticeable. Just there were some sloppy mistakes. They did a really good job of abusing Chi's summoner spell downtime, which, when you're a Victor and you don't have flash, there is not that much to do when the Riven and the Lee Sin just kind of walk into your lane and kill you under your turret. That just kind of feels bad. DAN did a pretty good job of stabilizing into the game, but that they could have taken a 3-for-3 and gotten out, but flashing in to try and get those last 2 kills just didn't do it. So DAN obviously have some things to clean up going forward into the LPL regular season in their first split in the LPL. And I think that there may be some question marks around their champion pools, because I'm a little suspicious of their mid lane and top lane champion pools just based on the fact that we're banning 6 or 7. They banned, I think, 4 top laners both games, and your mid laner is playing Victor, who is not that far off meta, and Lissandra, who we haven't seen in a while. I just, like, I don't know. We could see more. MVP for game 2, I didn't think about it. It's going to Jinnu, 307, impactful roam through the mid lane, winning 1v1 battles throughout. And I hope that as a part of Jinnu winning the MVP, we get to see a replay of that last fight and figure out actually what the hell happened. So, let's see what we see. Because I'd like to see a replay of that last fight before we sign off for the morning. So, before we get any of that I want, here's results for the day. Young Glory took out LPL newbie 2-1. Vici had probably the most comfortable wins of the day, two solid wins over Young Miracles. And then a 2-1 win for Jingdong Gaming, formerly Xiaogu. And here's our bracket. So, we've got our next stage of matchups in Jingdong against LGD. I think is going to be a fascinating matchup. And Aimei against Suning is another one that's going to be really fun. So those will be coming up soon. And IG against Red Wolf, of course. So we've done a lot of matches today. They've been a lot of fun. I'm glad that I had like 30 viewers at one point, which was hilarious. And I'm glad y'all joined me for this. I hope that I have done an okay job of speaking the words for you guys. I'm still just sitting here waiting for the replay of that last fight because I want to see actually what happened. I'm pretty sure it was just Syndra E. Looks like the commentators are checking out, so we're going to hope. Show me a replay. Okay, this is from earlier. So we'll see if they get us highlights of the last replay of the day. This is our first series of the day between Young Glory and Newbie, and this is the beautiful team fight that Young Glory played in around Baron to get themselves over me. There's the five-man Galio taunt that almost turned this game around, and the beautiful kick in from Hanchuan that tried to get Newbie back into game 3, but Kog'Maw just doesn't live through this. And then here is the Renekton player's dream. 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kill, 4 kill. And the victory for TGA Young Glory over the LPL side. And then the beautiful teamwork there on the kick into the taunt between Crash and EasyHoon, the new superstar duo Korean mid-jungle duo of Vici Gaming, ready to take them back out of the LSPL as soon as possible, who looked very clean in their games today. And then there were the Legend Dragon games, and this first game from Legend Dragon was really fun with the Zillion Jarvan Rengar comp, and then they got banned out for the rest of the day. And then here's Cool letting 2 people run into his ult very easily, and then they died. We get to see Jinu's great escape again. Now I want to see this last team fight. Show me the last team fight of this game. And okay, we get to see Nats flash in right there. That was when he knew things were going poorly. Yeah. And then that was the ace. Okay, Riven gets in, knock up, stun onto 3. And then that's a Syndra stun onto 5 people, and they're just all dead. That's what happens. So, pretty conclusive game. Thank you guys for watching. Glad you joined me. Hope you enjoyed. I might be back soon. I didn't even plan on doing this ever at all. I just kind of got bored and felt like it. So if you liked it, let me know. Follow me on Twitter. Talk in chat. But I will see if I can be back for more sometime soon, since this seemed to be pretty well received. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Take care. We'll see you soon.